GP blames governors for rising political violence ahead of 2023 elections. INEC vows to address issues with voters register. And on the foreign scene, Saudi leader giving US immunity over Khashoggi killing. I am Jude Omamigbe, and this is the news. Good afternoon, and we'll begin our news this afternoon as reports from parts of Port Harcourt that the security is tight. This is as the President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to be in the state today. The President is expected to commission the newly constructed Nabo Graham Douglas campus of the Nigerian Law School in Port Harcourt. Reports say Port Harcourt Mall was this morning closed down for business following a court order that restrained one of its occupants, Spar, from going ahead with its proposed Black Friday sales scheduled to begin today. A tweet by one Emmanuel Ibanibo showed pictures of the closed gates of the mall and people sitting outside. The management of the mall is yet to react to the court order as of the time of this report. Recall that a suit filed by the Attorney General of the state restrained Spar Market, its agent, servant, or previous from holding the sales. The trial chief magistrate A.O. Amadina also granted an interim order restraining the Spar Market, its agent, servant, or previous from further obstructing the River State Commissioner for Environment and his staff from accessing the Spar facilities before, during, and after the scheduled Spar Black Friday event. And moving on, the PDP in Rivers State has refuted reports that the party is sponsoring attacks on political opponents in the state. Director General of the PDP Campaign Council in Rivers State, Felix Obwa, whilst addressing journalists in Port Harcourt, said the PDP is too organized and does not have a competition in the elections that will warrant its involvement in political thuggery. He dismissed the reports of attack as fallouts of some of the internal wranglings in the opposition parties. As you may know, the most recent report was by the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Senator Magnus Abe, who alleged that the state PDP chairman, Desmond Akao, sponsored armed youth to disrupt his political engagement in Oyigbo local government area, where the PDP chairman comes from. Mr. Akao has denied this allegation. In the meantime, the group of 5 PDP governors who are allies of Governor Nyesom Wike will be in Port Harcourt today ahead of the PDP campaign flag-off tomorrow. The visit of the 5 governors is in continuation of their state-by-state solidarity visit. Governor Wike will host his colleagues to a state banquet at the Government House this night. The governors, who are bonded by a common cause to seek inclusiveness in the party, had recently introduced a political strategy to jointly visit each other to marry, commission projects, and flag off state-level campaigns. They have so far visited Benue and Enugu states. Meanwhile, the River State Governor Nyesom Wike has promised logistics support to the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi whenever he comes to campaign in the state. Governor Wike made the promise during the commissioning of the Umpolo Orowaroko flyover yesterday.
This to you. Listen, don't misinterpret me. All I said, as somebody he has honored to come and commission my project without saying that it's not in my party. It means too, when he comes here for campaign, he needs vehicles to lead him to some local government or to some services. He's a former governor, as a presidential candidate, a very humbled one. As a state government, we will also give him support to go for his campaigns.
On his part, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi says he will negotiate with his supporters to cede the governorship position to the PDP in Rivers State if the PDP agrees to support his presidential ambition. He said the Labour Party is open for negotiation with the PDP.
I've listened to what you said, and I should advise Labour people Now they should be careful about the state. I will talk to them. Me and them will negotiate. I'll say, oh God, so Arab Gala State, Arab Line Center. So Arab Gala State, Arab Line Center. If you leave that for them, if you leave that for us now. So we will negotiate it. You know you're in charge. And we will not quarrel with you. Anybody who quarrels with you doesn't know what he's doing.
Mr. Obi also promised to transform the country if elected president in 2023.
I assure you of our commitment to build a better Nigeria. Our past will not be our future. Those people are our past, and that represent the future of Nigeria. And I've told Nigerians, hold me responsible. I know what it takes to turn around this country. I will not give excuse. I will change Nigeria. Take it on tape that I said I know the problem of Nigeria. Nigeria is not productive.
Moving on, some stakeholders in River State are warning that electoral violence during the general elections of 2023 may be worse than what was witnessed in 2019. Their comments follow recent reports of political violence and the signing of Executive Orders 21 and 22. A professor of sociology and development at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Sofiri Joan Peterside, tells correspondent Soibi Oruwari that if the means of reaching out to the electorates is reduced, electoral violence will be inevitable.
What I'm saying is that the preoccupation of all those who are angling for power to give happiness to the greatest number of people, that was Jeremy Benton's argument. So if political contestation is how to bring happiness to the greatest number of people, then the people should be given that opportunity to freely choose those who should represent them and deliver that happiness to them. It's not about violence. It's also not about monetization of the contestation processes. It's to allow the citizens to freely select and elect those who should govern them.
Professor Sofiri Joan Peterside suggested that the state government should ask political parties to pay cautionary deposit instead of asking them to obtain approval before using public facilities.
Placing certain kind of amount of money and ceiling denies certain political parties that may not be able to afford those kind of money. But in order to make sure that the facilities are returned in the form in which they were, people need to sign undertaking, what I call cautionary deposit. Cautionary deposit means that if the space is used and there's no disruption, the people get back their money. So I think that should happen so that every political party has equal chance of participating by making or assessing venues for such political contestation, manifesto presentation and all that.
Similarly, a member of the Central Working Committee of the Partners for Peace in the Niger Delta, Livingstone Membere, said that if the trend of electoral violence in River State is not checked, it will be worse than that of 2019 elections.
The signs are there. In 2019, we had more like a two-party system. Now we have a multi-party system. It was alleged that the governorship candidate of the SDP, Senator Magnus Abe, has been attacked twice and has been stopped from holding consultation. So these are signs. In fact, the violence has started already. If stakeholders do not take reasonable action to douse the tension, that the 2023 election will be more violent.
Mr. Mabere also said his organization will release the 2023 election analysis when it concludes its investigation and data collection on possible areas that will witness electoral violence.
We are working on a 2023 election scenario analysis, just like we did in 2019 when we mentioned that Akukutoru will be a very hot spot and nobody cared. We will come up with a report. We also mentioned key actors that are for peace and that are against peace. We will come up with that analysis and maintaining peace. The police and the state government. And the River State government is now part of the problem. Put out our recommendations to the world for people to take action and also to know whom to blame.
Still on this, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Baba, has blamed the recent political violence in the country on some state governors. The IGP said this during a meeting with the leadership of political parties and other stakeholders on Thursday in Abuja. As you may know, the National Security Advisor Babagana Mongunu recently disclosed that the country has witnessed 52 cases of electoral violence in 22 states in 1 month. Well, still ahead, the River CP rewards inspector who disarmed AK-47 wielding gang. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. A police inspector, Yerima Habila, has explained how he disarmed a three-man armed robbery gang who waylaid him while returning from church in Onne, which is in Eleme local government area of Rivers State. Mr. Habila, who disclosed that he came to Rivers from Mopo 6 p.m. PMF Medugri Borno State Command, said he encountered the hoodlums when he parked his car to answer a call on his way back from church. State Commissioner of Police Okon Effiong, shortly after receiving the seized rifle from Inspector Habila, commended him for his courage, saying a system that has sanctions must also have a reward. To business now. As the petrol crisis lingers, our correspondent has gathered that the federal government is yet to provide a clear statement on the regulated price of petrol that regulators can enforce. It was also gathered that the regulators are not aware of how much the depot owners buy products from NNPC. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has attributed the increase in pump price to the hike in private depot prices. They have also accused the private depots of hoarding products. As you may know, the petrol situation has left many filling stations closed. The few which are open for business in Port Harcourt sell between 210 and 240 naira per litre. But Nigeria Info FM understands that the regulators are now out to ensure that the petrol stations reduce the price of the product to 200 naira per litre. And finally, from the international scene, the US has determined that Saudi Arabia's de facto leader, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has immunity from a lawsuit filed by murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi's fiancée. Mr. Khashoggi, a prominent Saudi critic, was murdered at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October of 2018. US intelligence has said it believes Prince Mohammed ordered the killing, but in court filings, the U.S. State Department said he has immunity due to his new role as Saudi Prime Minister. And that was the news, but before we go, a quick wrap of the stories you heard. Security is tight in Port Harcourt following expected visit of President Muhammadu Buhari. Port Harcourt Mall was closed for business this morning as court stops Black Friday sales of Spa Rivers. PDP denies attacks on opponents. The IGP blames governors for rising political violence ahead of 2023 elections. And on the foreign scene, Saudi leader has been given U.S. immunity over Khashoggi killing. The news was edited by Martha Okere. Cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon with temperatures of about 31 degrees expected. Collect your PVC and vote. Your vote is your voice. My name is Jude. Thank you for listening and good afternoon.